Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's another Friday and we're having IP Catch Up today. IP Catch Up is a series event where we meet to discuss IP and its intersection with different areas. So we get to interview people in the business space, music space, creative, and different areas. So our guest for today is Mr. Bola Mogaji. He is the founder of Hashtag Entertainment, and he'll be joining us today to talk about music business. And he'll be joining us now. I've just sent him a request. So if you have a question, please just feel free to drop it in the chat box, and I'll try my best to engage him as much as I can. Hello, sir.
Hello, how you doing?
Fine, thank you, sir. It's so good to see you after so many years.
Yes, it's so good to be seen after so many years. Apologies, I have to do this interview in the car, just coming out of a meeting, but hey, I hope you can hear my voice anyway.
Yes, yes, we can hear your voice and we can see you. Thank you so much, sir.
Great.
Okay, so today we'll be talking about the business of entertainment, music business, and it's exciting to know that I used to be also active in the music space, and now I get to talk to
Yes,
someone.
we miss you.
Yes, someone who is an icon in the field and has so much experience. So from the profile, which I would have read, but because we have a short time, I'll just dive into it. We can see that you started your company in London and that that you moved it to Nigeria. So it can function both in Nigeria, London, in USA, etc. And you're into the whole business and also just give us like a short introduction to who you are and how you got into this space. Was it a coincidence or was it something you always knew that you were going to go into?
Well, I've always been a music fan, not just the business side, but I was always been a music fan. I was introduced to music by my parents, like most of us have.
Okay, so I think that we're having a network issue, and I hope that we'll be able to get him back for him to talk about this. I was not sure if it was from my end, so I decided to be quiet just in case. But we can see that maybe it came from his end. So I'm
Can you hear
sending him.
me?
So I can hear you. Thank you very much. Yes, I can
Okay,
hear you.
fantastic. So yeah, like I said, I'd always been. Um, I was inducted by my parents into music, loving music, and then of course church happened, and I thought to go into gospel music, predominantly because it was harder than going into secular. I don't like things easy. I've always felt secular music, you could do Spangolo music, and you could do that with a twinkle over that. But gospel music had always fascinated me because it requires somebody who understands and knows music for you to be in gospel music at all. You have to know your notes. You have to know how to use your notes. You have to be able to sing, know how where you're singing from your head or from your tummy or from wherever. And then my going into the UK allowed for me to um, further my business qualifications, and I thought, why not mix business with pleasure, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I started looking into the element of the business of music and how it shouldn't just be because you have a talent and it should be for fun. No, it should also be able to pay bills and support other people. And yeah, so I guess um, 25, almost 30 years in the game, I'm still around.
Yeah. So what is music business to you?
Well, uh, music business is the ability to not just make ends meet, but to create platforms that can sustain a career in music. Sustaining a career in music is not also the fact that you're just making 1 naira because you want to be able to, your cost is 1 naira. I'm talking about sustenance to also be able to put food in the mouth of your family, to be able to support other businesses. From there, be able to invest in other businesses. So music business is the ability to milk
Hmm.
out of the
Hey.
music talent
Mm.
the facilities or using the platforms to be able to benefit yourself and others. So it's quite a huge terrain, quite a huge terrain.
So I'll just talk about structure now. So I see
Yes,
that aside from being a music lover and loving the business and all that, there's a structure to what you're
yes.
doing. You have a company and all that. So for someone who's coming into this space, what will you describe a music structure to look like? What does a music structure look like?
Um, you see, it depends on who you are, who you are answering, who your target audience is. Now, for any music person just coming into music, it is extremely important that you fully understand that you cannot do music alone without structure. A lot of people have attempted it. The music business world is creating more and more platforms to support the up and coming artists so they don't have to either work with labels as go as independents. There are quite a number of that coming up. But you need people who are experienced in the business and in the art of the business itself. Now, even as an independent artist, you're a company on your own because you're a brand. So you should get your company registered. You should have some kind of registration, secondly, you should have a team of people who know the game or who know the business more than you as the people to execute on your behalf. You are joking and you're kidding yourself. So it's important to build a team of people that would run that structure or that will execute on your behalf. Now, for any artist, you would require people who understand songwriting. You require people who understand how to sing in terms of vocal trainers. You would require people who can create awareness for you, whether on social media or whether or not on terrestrial television or radio. You require people who understand strategy as to knowing when to release your music, how to release your music, when not to release your music, so that it doesn't get overshadowed by other bigger artists. You would require people who can speak on your behalf. You will also require lawyers to also help you uh, put together a protection for your music so that other people don't steal it from you or don't take your money from you. So you need a finance person who can keep proper accounts of your finances. So in terms of building a structure, a business structure for music, it's it's equally as hard as building for that of an oil company, but it is achievable. You can just start small.
Wow, you've actually said a lot of things combined together. So people will have to sit down and then listen to it and try to now bring it out successfully. And we don't have so much time, but I'll just ask you another question. What are your thoughts
Okay.
on we have people who are signed to record labels and those record labels do the trademarks on their behalf and
Yeah.
trademark their name. So what are your thoughts on trademark? What are your thoughts on master recording rights? So we have people too that the record label owns their masters. And so maybe like we heard of Kanye that was saying, tell me how much
Yeah.
my master costs. And I would like to buy that from you. And they have not told him. As the last time that we heard about it, they have not told him how much his masters cost. So what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
trademark, masters, and publishing? What are your thoughts on it?
On all three, I think um, I've been on both sides of the table. I've been an artist manager. and I've also been a record label executive, and I still am. And what I realized is, I mean, over the last maybe 4 years, I've signed maybe about 10 different artists. At some point, we had 11 in the house at a particular point in time that covered various genres of music. And I realized that because they were working with a record label, they feel that they don't need to do anything anymore. They just feel that it's just the elements of the creativity that they need to focus on, and not focus on the ability to support and promote themselves and create additional awareness for themselves. So now when you spend all that money, after 2-3 years where they're still in development, they always feel that they are bigger than what the reality states. So they decide to go on their own. When they go on their own and you don't have some of the music registered in your name or the masters in your name, what you have is a complete and total loss of your revenue in any way or format. So that's why sometimes I support a lot of record labels that do this, because they're only trying from a business perspective to protect their interest, so that people just don't come in and take a piss and just go away. But from the artistic perspective, from the artist perspective, I also understand that, you know, at the time that you joined the label, you were hungry. So when you put your pen to paper, you didn't have business advice. Neither did you want any business advice, because you could just see, wow, I'm signing to Hashtag Entertainment, or I'm signing to Maven, or I'm signing to the DMW, or whatever it is. Man, where's the pen? I sign anywhere. I'm going. Let's go. And then you forget the fact. It's not that you forget. You forget that you also have a part to play in this so-called business. You had opportunities to get someone like Juliana, who is a intellectual property lawyer, to sit at the meeting with you and negotiate this on your behalf without any bias, without being subjective. You understand where I'm coming from? And at the same time, you forget, or the artists forget, that whoever it is that is putting money down, okay, say for instance, I've spent maybe close to 100, 200 million in the last 4 years or 5 years on music. And I really don't have anything to show for it. Not one of the artists has sold anything to bring back that money. If I put 200 million, 100 million into real estate,
you would see what
I'm buying just land. I would see what I'm buying. So you can understand why record labels feel that holding the masters or keeping whatever it is that they need to keep is essential to recouping part of their money, including the names, so that if you then have to go and come up with another name, then you are starting from ground zero. So you see the arguments on both sides of the table. But I feel that in any situation, the person who is putting down the money, not just the creativity, the person who is putting the money into the creatives, into the talent, should be the one that should get paid first, because you believed in the idea or the talent when it was nothing.
Yes.
You couldn't need to spend money, you grew it. Now, when this person blossoms and is grown and it has recouped your money, you should go get back to the table again and renegotiate a better deal for the artist. In that case, the artist has no reason to want to even leave you in the first place. Now, maybe at some point the artist then feels, I am big enough to go on my own. Yes, and that should be the case. You shouldn't hold on to anybody for the entirety of their life or the entirety of their career. They should be at some point big enough to go on their own. And when it gets to that point, I mean, see Wizkid and the guys that signed in EME. I mean, both the directors of EME were inside the last video, the video for Smile. You would see both of them sitting down having a drink on the table, both Banky W and the other gentleman. Both of them were sitting in the video. Those are the two guys that run EME. So even after he had left them, he's still like messing with them, in the sense that he's still with them. They're still friends, and that's how the music business should be.
Thank you so much, sir. I wish I could just continue this interview, because my God, like you are answering from both ends, and that's like so nice. Like I interview people and they give me like a particular perspective, but you're actually the first person to give me both sides, and I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry that this interview has to be short, and I would still reach out to you for us to
fix another day. Let's go on. Fix another day. Let's go all out. Okay.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much for
No
creating the time
problem.
to come today. I really appreciate you.
No
Thank
problem
you.
at all. No
Have
problem
a
at all.
lovely
Thanks for having
weekend.
me. Welcome. You too.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.